Alright, so what was your story, Travis?
Oh, yeah. So, I came home last night to see my parents watching television, and all I see on the screen is this guy being surrounded by souls, and they're going around him and being sucked into his body. I'm like, what the fuck is this? My first reaction, of course, since my dad's watching it, was to say, wow, finding Bigfoot gets really weird in the later seasons. My mother just gives me this really dry look and says, that would actually be better than this. I'm like, oh my god, what are you watching? Ghost Rider.
Oh! Okay.
The one or two?
I'm pretty sure it's one.
The one? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. What was I expecting for it to make it any better? Like, it doesn't make a difference.
Makes me feel bad about the fact that I don't know.
Alright, welcome to the UGO podcast. Gonna be a light week this week as we're abdicating Netflix and Kill because someone didn't watch the movie. So it's just gonna be the regular episode this week.
I will commit seppuku.
But who is contemplating committing seppuku and who is judging others with their stares? Why, it's me, Nick the Merc with a mic, and my fellow unapologists.
Can I do both?
You can do both.
I will do both then. I'm Travis.
And I'm Kyle, the one who also bought you wings while watching the movie. Am I your favorite?
Yes. Kyle is now the favorite. Travis, give him the patch.
Oh,
Take it off. Take it off right now.
Nick, that's my shirt.
Take it all off.
My shirt.
Shirts are for winners. Anyway, yes. Plus, I always thought if we, as much as we disrobe on the podcast already, like the listeners, just assume that we are in some form of undress while we're doing this in some way or another.
Thanks for that mental image.
Yeah, I don't actually own a full pair of pants.
I thought you were going to say, I don't own a full wardrobe.
Nope.
Also true.
No, like, sometimes you'll get maybe one pant leg on, and that'll be about it.
Mm-hmm. Just drags it behind you.
Yep.
I feel like that would be more
Cats chasing.
But yes, what are we talking about today? Why, today is
I actually don't know.
Yes, it's a surprise today. Well, it's gonna be a smaller episode today, but I saw this article last week that I was gonna do for the news last week, but our episode ended up running along. So I thought it might make for a fun game. And a Screen Rant did a article on what was it here? It was a screenwriting and some of the people's worst notes that they got from studios when they were pitching their scripts. And they were sharing it at an event at the Writers Guild of America, and they shared some of their worst notes, and man, are they funny. So I thought maybe we might make a game out of it to try and see if we can't beat the ridiculous notes that they got. Like what we could come up with versus what the actual notes were, and see which one is more ridiculous. But that'll be later in the show. First off, we got some trailers to get to today, of course. The traditional trailer talk. And of course the geeky news of the week. And of course the general announcements, which I will get to right now. And since I've been watching Boardwalk Empire and loving it, why don't we bring in our special guest, no, I forgot.
Now you forgot the name?
No, I forgot. I want to say his, the Godfather, but I'm like, he's an actual person.
He has a name.
He has a name. This fictional person. But if we want to bring in Marlon Brando to do the announcements.
Well, thank you, Nick. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. First of all, this, of course, is the UGO podcast. And, of course, if you want to support them, do a favor for them, they might have to do a favor for you. Or so I've heard. Actually, we don't do that sort of thing. It's just regular support. There's no, like...
You already forgot his name. Do not...
No, Kyle, I like how cause Kyle one's thinking I like the cut of his jib. You, Nick, on the other hand, watch while you sleep. I'll put one of the cat's heads in the bedroom. They're actually not my cats, even more so then. Anyway, if I could just get through this, goddammit. Come back from the dead for this shit. If you'd like to go follow them on their social media pages. The hell's social media?
I was about to say, what do you even know?
What the hell is this? What the hell's a Facebook? Why would you go and give them a like there?
Why not just give them a like in person? What are you talking about?
What the fuck's a
Kind
titter?
of like when you take their face off and you put it on a book. It's similar. We'll just go with that.
The fuck's a Twitter? At UGO Podcast. What the hell is that? And it's the same as your Instagram? Isn't that just confusing? Actually, marketing-wise, it's actually much more similar to Keep Consistent. Well, what the hell marketing? What do you mean? Just have them listen, otherwise blow the fucking brains out. I don't understand what's whatever.
That does seem simpler.
But anyway, you want to support them in a regular way, write them a review. There, that's a good one. Write them a review in your local paper. That'd be good. What the hell's iTunes? Okay, so if you write them a 5-star review in the newspaper iTunes, then I guess they will read whatever it goes on the air, on their radio waves, word for word, I guess. You know what? Close enough. I'm not even correct him on that one. Good. No, don't you ever correct me. Last guy corrected me, ended up waking up and sleeping with the fishes. Okay, how can you wake up sleeping with the fishes? Don't you ever question me like that again. Anyway, of course, we want to mention Tanner Heckle Designs, who have that mook, that good looking mook there, did the UGO of their logo, did some great goddamn work for him. And you go support him on his website, TannerHeckleDesigns.com. And of course, Isabella, that derpy, little cute, goddamn cute dragon, that of course I would never do anything to harm because she's adorable. I was made for them by the lovely dame, Kelly Main. Yeah, go check her site out at kellymain.com to have her do some great artwork for you as well. And now, if you excuse me, I got some much, much more important work to attend to. Thank you. Man, he has got a great left hook for a dead guy.
Yeah, you got a little mark there.
But of course, with that out of the way, we have of course, the special announcements, which are PlatCon. We're going to be at PlatCon March 3rd through the 5th. And we will be playing some games there with you guys.
Yeah,
and
that's actually next week, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is next week.
Like, I kind of forgot that.
Well, actually, not next. It's not actually next week. It's actually Oh yeah, it is. Next week.
It's next week.
It is next week. Yeah, we gotta.
Yeah, remember February's really short.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot. But it is next week, so hopefully we will see you guys there. And
if we don't forget to go.
And it's gonna be super fun. We're gonna be playing Super Fight, Anime Pitch, and we have our general trivia contest that we like to do, and it's just gonna be a great grand old time. So if you're in the Platteville area, definitely come down and say hi. With that, I think we can just get right into the episode. Travis, you and I saw a movie.
We did
last night. Yeah, we saw The Great Wall. We finally saw it.
You poor souls.
Man, you know what's worse? The worst thing with The Great Wall is that it's not really that bad.
I wish it was worse.
It was just, I do kind of wish it was worse. It comes off as pretty, like, I'm trying to remember certain things about it now, and other than some certain cinematography things about it, it's really, really generic.
Yeah.
Although me and Travis both laughed when Willem Dafoe looked like
he just shows up in the background.
So it's like he actually did just show up.
No,
Yes.
he wandered on set. Like, it looked like the first time he shows up, I'm like, seriously, why does every time he shows up in a movie, it looks like he just wandered on set? I've been here 25 years. Like, oh, really? Why are you all washed and well-groomed? Why do you look like you just came from your trailer?
Well, to be fair, it's not like they treated him like a slave or anything. They actually treated him like a guest.
Right, except that, even the other guys, after they clean up, they look like, oh, they're all fresh and, at least from that time period. And Willem Dafoe with his crazy eyes and beard, just like...
I mean, that's just Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Hoarding all his fucking black powder to create his pumpkin weapons or whatever from fucking Spider-Man. But, yeah, Matt Damon chooses to do an accent in the film, which is an interesting choice for him, considering I don't know what the fuck accent it is.
I think it was supposed to be English, but I do not know.
Thought it might have been, like, you might try to be Scottish. I'm not sure.
He didn't really seem to commit to one.
No.
Man, now I'm gonna have to listen to it.
It is crazy. But what was it? The Tautei, the dragon things that they were fighting?
The Chitauri.
Yeah, the creature designs left a little bit something to be desired. Although the fighting in it was actually kind of cool, like the actual army side of the fight.
If not ineffective at most points.
Wow, there's this bungee scene where you've seen in the trailers where they are using these ropes to fight the monsters on the side of the wall.
Mm-hmm. And they're the crane core or whatever, something like that.
Sometimes it makes sense because you're like, oh, well, if they get up to the top, they can actually focus on fighting you, and then if the monsters are on the side of the wall, they have to focus on climbing, so it might actually help them out, sort of. Except for immediately it shows that the blue soldiers, because they're all color-coded to what they do, like, they are bungee jumping down to stab these monsters with spears, and then to come back up to get more spears, bungeeing style, going back and down, stabbing. Only monsters are grabbing them as they go down, because that's a stupid way to kill monsters. Like, it is super ineffective.
Yep. But the movie doesn't even try to hide that, because they show a lot of them dying, and then they're brought down by these rings, and then when they bring it back up, they throw this ring into a pile of like more bloody rings. I'm like, okay, how many? And this is a group that's only women, so it just kind of seems like they just really hate women.
I don't understand. Like, why not just throw the spears?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not 100% sure why we couldn't have just done that. But yeah, the fighting is pretty cool. They have some cool, like, blade weapons they use with the wall.
This whole entire the Great Wall of China is apparently a gigantic death trap. Mm-hmm. It actually, at some points, they like bring out spinning blades of doom that apparently, like literal spinning blades of doom you would find in like a dungeon.
But they only use it during the second fight, because the first fight it wouldn't have worked for whatever reason.
Because they had to escalate the silliness of
whatever the reason that they didn't use the sword right away in Pacific Rim.
Like, that same reason.
Right.
Like, whatever reason that they gave for that, I'm sure it was the same here.
Like, the first part of the movie, there's like, no, we're gonna use martial arts and that's it. We're gonna do the super ineffective stabbing of spears, and then that's it.
Well, later in the film, it's like the first time they decide to strap black powder to arrows and then shoot the monsters with explosives, and it blows them up real good. Yep. You kind of go, why were we doing this the whole time?
Like, it could have been because, like, they only had a limited supply or something, but they don't state that.
No, they never state anything about what the reasoning is behind their actions. So it's just this, like, I guess I can try and make up an excuse in my head, but whatever.
It's like why you don't drop a nuclear weapon on Godzilla. Like, we know that, but...
Well, it's because he eats nuclear radiation. That totally makes sense.
But that's at least they give you a reason for it, whereas this movie just doesn't.
Yeah, I never even got, like, why didn't they just throw some pitch over the side of the wall and light that shit on fire?
Right, because they show they have trebuchets. They have pitch and resin and all that bullshit that they used to light giant cannonballs on fire. I'm like, okay, why not use that in other places?
Yeah, so overall, I think I would give it a 2 out of 5. Like, it's average overall.
That's about what I was expecting.
It's average overall, but it gets dragged down with the fact that there's just not enough character development to care about Matt Damon and his buddy as they go through. And the actual main character of the piece, the female warrior that they run into, is actually much more interesting of a character, and she gets a lot less focus.
Yeah.
But as far as it being offensive, like Matt Damon being the great white gaijin coming to save China, actually doesn't play like that.
No, actually, I really kind of like this part.
Yeah, they actually...
from what I understand of this plot synopsis, they're actually there to steal gunpowder.
Yes, that is why they're there.
They're the bad guys. Like, they're there to steal gunpowder, and...
Because guess what? China was more advanced than us, Europeans at one point. Well, so,
the whole thing is that they're looking at the wall and all these defenses and stuff, and they're like, "Whoa, China's awesome! I've never seen an army like this. I've never seen anything like this before." And then they're all impressed by he managed to kill one of them by himself, and it was just like, "Really? You guys have been fighting thousands of years? Not one of you has ever killed one by yourselves, like ever?" But maybe it's just impressive that anyone that wasn't trained by this army did it. But anyway, it turns out that the only reason he could do it is because magnets disrupt the sensory input that they get.
Well, they gave you a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, so he was carrying a Deus Ex Machina in his backpack, and he just didn't know it.
It was actually kind of funny, because it's like, oh yeah, this guy's not actually really good, he just had a magnet.
Yeah, he just had luck, basically this lucky rabbit's foot thing on his side.
Although the opening scene of this movie is kind of dumb, because first off, it starts off with, like, for some reason, this multicultural group of people trying to find China.
Oh yeah, this mercenary group going to steal the black powder. You'd be so proud, Kyle. They made a culturally diverse mercenary band. Like, there's the English guy, there's the Spaniard guy, there's the Middle Eastern guy, and what was the last one?
I think it was, like, Scottish or Welsh.
Was he Scottish or something?
He was some other generic white dude.
Yeah, and he got hit in the leg or something. Yeah, and they're getting chased by Mongol, like, warriors and shit. And I was just like, what a weird set of people that immediately get murdered.
Yeah. And then, of course, they're running away from this, like, the tribes that are outside the wall. And they're just running around, like, we have to find, we have to escape, we have to go up on this ridge. And then they find the fucking wall, and they're like, oh my god, that's huge. I'm like, wait.
How did you not
see the fucking wall of China? Like, how did you miss that?
They turn a corner and they go, oh, there it is.
Yeah, oh my god, that's surprising. I'm like, what? How?
Alright, so Travis, what would you give the movie?
5 out of 10.
5? Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty average in every way. I kind of wish it was sillier.
Yeah, I wish actually it would be like, cause the best / worst part of the movie is when his buddy, the Viper from Dorne from Game of Thrones, is of course Spanish. He's a Spaniard, so he fights one of the lizards by taking one of the people's red capes and flipping it around and saying, and he actually says the word bitch, like, hey bitch, and I was just like, what? And he like does the Toro, and he does that like a couple times in order to fight one of the giant lizard things. And I was just like, this might be the worst part about the movie, but it's the time I'm having the most fun, because it's like, really? The Spanish guy, this is how he fight? Wow, that is dumb. But yeah, that brings us to my first story, which is the weekend box office.
That was actually kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, the weekend box office here, we have some repeat winners. And as far as The Great Wall is concerned, it made about 18 million domestically.
And how much was it? Looks like a $100 million
$150 million budget. But don't despair quite yet, because I thought it did not do so great in China, but actually it did pretty good globally. It had already made has already made 262 million globally.
Okay,
because it released everywhere else first. Still, they probably were looking for a little bit more, considering that
in the time of international box offices, that's still not that great.
No,
at least it's not like a complete failure.
Well, for another type of movie, like for another movie of this level of budget, by this point they would want to be past the 300 million mark, and they're just underneath it, and
it doesn't look like they're going to get that.
I don't think they're going to get there.
Yeah,
this movie is going to come and go from theaters.
It's not going to get a great word of mouth, I don't think.
There's nothing in it like I could mention the Toro scene.
Yeah, guess what else is in theaters, guys? Watch Lego Batman or John Wick 2.
Lego Batman is again coming in first with 34.2 million in its second weekend, and that's only a 35% decrease from its first debut.
Yep.
Wow. And that's really a pretty low when you consider how much usually even the biggest, best films have their big drop off after the weekend. So it has some serious legs. Not surprising. It's great. Kids movies usually do, and it has some absolutely great word of mouth from audiences and critics alike. I know we gave it some great word of mouth. That's for sure. So I think its overall gross was 98.7 million domestically. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. In second, 50 Shades Darker. Which made 20 million in its second weekend. It's now up to almost 90 mil stateside. So in foreign markets, that one is also about Great Wall levels at about 276 million.
But that one's on target.
Yeah, that one's definitely on target, considering the budget of the film was about 55 million. They are rolling in it right now, so there will be a third one. There will be a third movie of that.
Yep.
And Great Wall came in third. Man, where are you, John Wick?
Fourth.
John Wick is fourth. Okay,
yep.
Number 4 is John Wick Chapter 2, which made 16.5 million in the second weekend. I think that brings the overall gross about 60 million. And it's already topping the domestic total of its predecessor.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so looks like we're gonna get a third chapter for John Wick as well.
Cool.
If
Let's see, what was that budget? 40 million. So it actually made back almost everything the first week.
Yep,
So
that's what they're looking for. Keep that budget low, keep the action up. That way they can have that R rating. Speaking of another R-rated film, that movie Fist Fight that we watched the trailer for, I think once, and we're all like, "Man, that looks dumb."
I didn't remember it. Honestly.
It came in fifth in its opening weekend here. It made 12 million. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the budget was here, but
I can look that up. Why are you doing that?
oh wait, it looks like it had a really cheap budget. It's about 25 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
It didn't look like an expensive movie.
No, that's true. That's very true. So it still might do so great. It's still great. But the biggest story out of that is just like, wow, Lego Batman's doing some serious numbers.
Yep.
Doing real good, real good. And not surprisingly, The Great Wall is just like, yeah, that didn't seem to have great marketing behind it. And then when me and Travis were walking out of the film, I'm like, yeah, that's not going to make money over here.
Yeah.
Like domestically, that won't make. It'll be gone after a couple weeks, I think.
Hey, we gotta sit in the fancy chairs.
We did get to sit in the
Oh!
the Dream Lounger ones.
I do like those. I will spend extra money to view in comfort.
In comfort, yes. I like it as well. But speaking of viewing in comfort, I watched something in the comfort of my own home, which was Legion, the first episode of Legion. You remember that? We were talking about it earlier, the X-Men TV show.
Oh, okay.
About Charles Xavier's son with the multiple personalities that each one had a different power. I watched the opening episode, and it's wow, it is crazy. It's crazy.
It's just crazy, huh?
It's hard to explain. It's like kind of Inception, sort of meeting being John Malkovich levels of you're never sure what you're watching if it's happening or not.
Okay.
Because the dude is, well, they portray him as that he is supposed to be schizophrenic, but you're not sure if it's his powers or if he's just straight schizophrenic and he doesn't have powers, or if it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
So it's really crazy. By the end of the episode, you're kind of like, okay, I'm pretty sure he's definitely got to be a superhero or whatever, but it's even unclear as to it's like these characters that show up to come and rescue him out of this place. You're kind of questioning, I wonder if these characters are even real, if they're made up in his own heads. Are these others of his personalities?
Jeez.
Like, are these bad guys that are out to get him, like, are they even real? Like, it seems like they are, like they're trying to test him militarily wise, but thing is that it is visually very interesting, and at least for the first episode, I've only watched the first one, but it was really cool to me. I was just like, wow, I've never seen a superhero show like this before. Super cool. It ends in this fight sequence where they have to rescue him from this like Doctor Doom type island sort of thing, and that's where he's being held. It has all these mutants show up to take him out. It is the best X-Men action sequence I've ever seen.
Really?
Better than any of the movies.
I mean, low bar. But...
Well, yeah, because, Bryan Singer, he can't shoot an action scene that has more than 2 people in it. But this one, it has a telekinetic that's throwing people and cars around like it's nothing. Like, it's high levels telekinesis. They got a pyrokinetic chick that just is lighting shit, incinerating people. Like, we see black charred corpses and shit. Ooh. This is FX, so they can go a little harder. It's very intriguing to me right now. I would highly suggest you go watch it if you're listening and you're up for some different superhero TV.
That does sound really interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. I think the second episode is out already as well, but I haven't watched it yet. But I'm very much looking forward to it. Speaking of superheroes, you guys are a fan of the cosplay. We go to the conventions and stuff. We see all the cosplays of the superheroes, the video games, and all that sort of good jazz. Well, it turns out Sci-Fi is a fan of the cosplay stuff too, because they're launching their own cosplay competition series called Cosplay Melee.
Is it a fight game? Okay, a fighting game.
Well, I wanted the Super Smash Brothers, like, Melee to play after whenever they say the title, like, on the show. But yeah, apparently they're gonna have they have already had some reality shows, like, apparently Fangasm and Heroes of Cosplay. And apparently this new one is going to be, here I have the quote here, say the production, alternative development and production at USA and Sci-Fi, Senior Vice President Heather Orlander, says cosplay is a passion, artistry, engineering, and theater all rolled into one at the intersection of the maker world and fandom. The incredible artists of cosplay Melee will blow your minds with their transformative creations. Not a big details on what the competitions will be, what they will entail, or what the rules will be. But I would assume that they are going to give, challenges, not like on like Top Chef, like say probably make a cosplay from maybe this, maybe from a fandom you're not familiar with as a challenge, or...
I'm kind of loving the idea of a cosplay cooking show, essentially.
Well, if you think about it, like there's
Cupcake Wars, cosplay edition.
There's a bunch of different styles of cosplay you can do to test people, like hey, make this but steampunk.
Right.
Make a medieval version of this.
Yeah,
Gender bend, go!
On YouTube, I've been watching Tested, where Adam Savage from Mythbusters builds his cosplays, and that's really interesting to watch, so I can see the appeal to this.
Mm-hmm. Well, interviewing people at conventions is always so surprising to see these people that they so want to talk to you about their costumes. Like, hey, can I ask you a couple questions about your costume?
They get so excited.
Yes, I spent 6 months.
It's like not only can you ask, I demand.
I demand you ask me these questions. I spent 6 months creating this costume. I would
now
like
ask me about the hemming.
It's like, cause I remember I asked a guy about his, one of our first ones, I asked a guy about his, Captain Jack Sparrow, wig. And he was like, I'm so glad you asked about that, cause it's actually I actually got it custom made by the dude that makes the Pirates of the Caribbean wigs. And he went into this whole story about how he got this wig, and like his struggles to get this wig, and I was just like, geez.
The struggle is real.
But yeah, I'm actually really interested in that. I'm not up for reality TV. I think I've said some harsh things about it.
A little bit, yeah.
I might be quoted as saying it's the downfall of of modern actual, effort being put into television. But since that we're in the peak golden age of television where there's so much good TV out right now, I guess I was wrong. Maybe I guess reality TV can just has a place, and it didn't ruin everything.
Hey.
So
Like I said, it's fun to watch those like Cupcake Wars and stuff. So
yeah, it definitely good. So I'm gonna see what this is all about. I kind of like it. In other news, the Oscars are getting a little poke and a nod, or at least the movies that were nominated for Oscars, with some Zootopia parody posters. Yeah, they apparently, in order to have fun, a little bit of fun of the Oscars, they're having I'm not sure if it was the Zootopia, like the creators behind Zootopia, or if it was Disney themselves. But
that'd actually be a smart plan. It's also simultaneously
it's simultaneously because it's
advertisement
because they're up for
appealing
because they're up for best animated feature.
Yep.
Yeah,
they are neck and neck with Kubo and the Two Strings.
Ooh,
that's cool.
That's stiff competition.
Yep.
I mean,
Zootopia's favored.
I would say Zootopia is going to get it.
Yeah,
but you never.
I personally think Zootopia is a more solid movie because
me too. Like. From my perspective, Zootopia actually does deserve it more than Kubo, but, not to say that Kubo's not a bad movie. Kubo's a really good movie.
Two Strings is a fantastic movie,
but from a studio standpoint, also from just because when you take the Academy from their perspective, Zootopia would seem to be the more likely choice.
Yep.
It would seem to be the one that, quite frankly, all of the judges would probably watch.
All right. Do you have more to talk about?
Sorry, I got distracted by the Oscars. Anyway, they've
well, we'll get to that.
They had some interesting posters. You can check them out at THR, the Hollywood Reporter.
Okay.
So they have one for La La Land,
which is La La Lamb,
and and starring Ryan Foxling and Emu Stone.
Love it.
from the director of Hippo Splash. Frou Frou Foster Jenkins. Every Squeak Deserves to Be Heard by Meryl Squeak and Shrew Grant.
I actually wanted to see Florence Foster Jenkins. I'm kind of sad I missed that.
Yeah, well, I just want to see like Meryl Streep pretend not to sing because I know she can sing.
Yep.
Let's see, Hell or High Otter with Jeff Otterton and Chris Paws and Furry Foster. Muskiness isn't a crime is the tagline. Nocturnal Mammals with the scary ass panther from that scene with Jag Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Hogsaw Ridge based
Oh my god, all the blood.
Based on the incredibly muddy story. When the order came into retreat, one pig made a terrible mess. Fantastic Cheetahs and Where to Find Them. Yeah, apparently there might have been a couple more, but those are the ones I had up and ready. But yeah, definitely very entertaining.
That's cute.
I think my favorite was Hell or High Otter.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty good. I got to give him on the pun work there.
Well, do you want to talk about the Oscars for a little bit since you mentioned it?
You know what, while we're on it,
all right,
don't you have
go for it.
I have the betting odds right here for everything. So La La Land is nominated for 14 Oscars, tied for the most. It tied with Titanic.
I was just going to say Titanic, probably.
And All About Eve in 1950, which I've never heard of. Film buffs. I'm sorry.
Wow, actually, I've never heard of it either.
Wow.
Yeah. All About Eve?
Yep, All About Eve.
Well, maybe I have heard of it.
Yep,
Wow.
it only won 6 awards. Titanic won 11. So now I'm going to ask you guys, what's the over-under? La La Land wins 7 or more.
7 or more.
Do you go over or under?
Or under. Put me down as over.
Yeah, I'm going to go over for 7 as well.
It's hard for me to tell because I didn't actually watch the
Very
movie,
true.
So
Academy likes...
Well, you can just guess. It's betting, by the way.
Under, because everyone's going over.
Under would make you a lot of money if it did get under there.
The Academy likes their movies about Hollywood.
Yeah,
I'd say it's
another title for La La Land would be Hollywood Handjob. So,
oh yeah. I mean, that's coming from a person who loves this movie to death, but it is a Hollywood hand job.
Yeah. Well, I really liked the movie. My biggest problem was, like, it's not, like, the best screenplay.
No, the screenplay and the singing in it.
It's all about the editing and the directing in this movie.
So, the editing and the directing is so good.
Which, by the way, it is obviously up for Best Director, Best Editor, Best Picture.
Best Director... Like, it should be a shoo-in. But if that thing doesn't get best editing, I will riot.
Best Actress, which Emma Stone is running away with. Best Actor, Ryan Gosling is not going to win that.
No, he ain't going to get that. Not with Denzel on the table.
Well, not with Denzel, and also, oh god, the lesser of the two Afflecks.
Oh, wow! Oh, that is a rough nickname for Casey Affleck.
Like... You just hurt someone personally on a very deep emotional level.
He's not listening.
Now we have to make a whole new...
It doesn't matter if he's listening, Kyle. He felt it in his soul.
We have to make a whole new sad Affleck meme now for Casey Affleck. But yeah, you're right. He's up for that one as well. So yeah.
Best Original Score, Best Original Screenplay, which I do not think it should win that one. But,
no.
But it's up there with the odds. Manchester by the Sea is leading, but that's actually a muddled field right now. Best Production Design, Best Costume Design, which, they're just wearing clothes. By the way, watch Screen Junkie's honest trailers about these Oscars. It was great. Watched it this morning.
They're just wearing clothes.
Yeah, okay, so now, over under 11, does it beat Titanic?
Oh, Titanic was a phenomenon, dude.
Yeah. So is La La Land. La La Land's getting a lot of hype.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay, how much did Titanic get?
11.
11. Okay, 11.
So over under.
Out of the 14?
Sticking with under, dude.
Okay, they're not gonna get... They won't get screenplay. They won't get... they might get just at about 11. That's a hard call. I'm gonna say they might get 11.
Yeah, you're going with breaking even.
I think they'll break even, but if you force me to pick one way or the other, I would say under.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'd probably go under on that too. 11's a lot of Oscars.
11's a lot of Oscars. I think they might get to 9 or 10 even.
I think either La La Land's gonna either win a couple of the big ones, and then they're gonna like pity give the bigger ones to some of the other actors and actresses and stuff. Or La La Land's gonna win all the big ones, and all of the pity Oscars are gonna go to everyone else. The ones that people don't talk about, like production design and costuming.
That is what tends to happen. So I'll put me down as for under.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with under on that as well. Any other questions while I have the odds up about this stuff? Because this is kind of interesting.
It is interesting. Let me ask, who else is up for Best Director?
Ooh, Best Director. Let me get down to that. Actually, I have that on this one.
I was just wondering if it's
Barry Jenkins of Moonlight, who was doing fairly well, but then La La Land came out.
Sure.
Really, that's the only other person who has a chance. The only other person who won any award was Kenneth Lonergan, who directed Manchester by the Sea. He won a Satellite. Then we have Denis Villeneuve and Mel Gibson, who didn't win any awards this season for directing.
For Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah.
And Denis Villeneuve for Arrival.
Yeah. Fences, is that up for anything? Because I know that
Fences is up for Best Actor.
I think Viola Davis got Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah, Best Supporting Actress. And I think it's also up for Best Film, but I think it is way behind. But of course, Best Film is like, that has the most people all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a long shot with 100 to 1 odds. So, the top ones for Best Picture are La La Land, Moonlight, Hidden Figures, and Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah, and is it only Kubo and Zootopia, or is Moana mixed in there?
Moana is mixed in there along with some other ones that I didn't hear of, like The Red Turtle and My Life as a Zucchini. Zootopia has 1 in 4 odds, the best odds. Yeah. Kubo and the Two Strings has 5 to 2 odds, which is very close.
Moana won't get it.
Moana's 20 to 1.
Yeah.
But it probably won't get it. Zootopia and Kubo are kind of running away. They're battling it out. But maybe it can get enough people splitting Zootopia and Kubo, and Moana would come up afterwards, but I think that's what its only chance would be.
I would say that Zootopia has a lock on it, but you never know. Kubo might just get the.
Kubo's been critics' like little soft spot this year. So.
And if you were to just say Best Animation, they would probably win it.
Yeah,
if Best Animation, but there's only one category for animated film.
Yep,
which is dumb.
Which is dumb because I'd put Zootopia definitely up in Best Picture.
It would actually be in Best Picture. Like, it would be right along with stuff like La La Land for me anyway. But that's not how the Academy works, so whatever.
Yep.
So whatever.
Yeah. But in my,
and some people would put Kubo up in Best Picture as well, so.
I will, you know what, just, if you take it on a whole aggregate, it's a very, the technical parts of it film, like, I would say it's animation, the way they shoot their animation is on par with how La La Land directs and uses editing.
Oh wow, guys, Suicide Squad is up for an Oscar.
No, it is
Why?
not.
Best makeup and hairstyling.
Oh, fuck you.
That's a pity award. If
oh, because you spray painted Margot Robbie white? Wow, fuck off. Sorry.
I just really enjoyed that reaction from you guys.
Sorry, I just imagined on the box of Suicide Squad, Oscar-winning Suicide Squad, and I threw up a little in my mouth, okay?
You know what's even worse? Oscar-nominated.
Yeah, Oscar-nominated.
Because they can put that on the bill no matter what.
They can put that on the fucking box, like, that's bullshit.
Oh man, I'm loving that reaction.
I'm sorry.
Star Trek Beyond is leading that category with 1 to 3 odds, which is by far the best odds.
They also paid people white, yeah.
Yep.
If I would say that if you used that much shitty looking CG in your movie, I don't think you should get best makeup, even if you're like, we used makeup like for the other shit that we didn't use. Or like, sorry.
Between stuff.
Like, just anything with DC now, but if we want to, we can use that to transition to our next news story. If we want to,
go ahead.
Unless you have any more Oscar.
Oh no, I was looking up for questions from you guys. That was all the fun I wanted to have this year.
But no, that was very interesting.
Oh wait, I guess I could go with some of my predictions, but I don't really care.
No, what's your top prediction? What do you think?
That's not much of a prediction if it's just gonna happen. Like, Damien Chazelle's a lock for Best Director.
Yes. It's
Emma
over.
Stone, everybody else is cannibalizing themselves, and she's the only one standing out with La La Land for Best Actress.
Viola Davis is going to get Best
Viola
Supporting.
Davis is Best Supporting
Who's
Actress
even
by
else
far.
who else even in that category?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I can look that up quickly.
Just her.
I think it's Viola Davis's category now.
It's just Viola Davis and then everyone else.
Viola Davis is the Best Supporting Actress.
She supports the whole entire category on her own.
Michelle Williams from Manchester by the Sea, Naomi Harris, sorry if I'm pronouncing your first name incorrectly, but I think it's just Naomi, from Moonlight, Nicole Kidman from Lion, and Octavia Spencer from Hidden Figures.
Okay, yeah, those, I have only seen half of those, but the performances were really good. Viola Davis will win, though.
Viola Davis.
Oh yeah, that wasn't even a question.
Did anyone else use snot as effectively as she did? Come on.
Best Supporting Actor, Marsala Ali is running away with it for...
Really?
Yep.
For Hidden Figures?
No, Moonlight.
Oh, sorry, I totally forgot he was in that, too.
Yep.
Man, he's had a good year.
Yeah.
Man, that guy... he should, he's getting it for that, but probably, I always think he'll get it for Cottonmouth.
Yep.
Just because I loved him so much as Cottonmouth.
It's pretty awesome that way.
Best Actor is actually pretty interesting with, Denzel Washington and Casey Affleck. Casey Affleck has the best odds.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh man, I'm actually torn on what this prediction for this prediction, because I so want Denzel to win.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've seen Fences before, but Denzel's already won 2 Oscars. So I don't know if the Academy's gonna go like, he's already got it, maybe we'll give it to Casey. I just don't know. I'm gonna go with my man Denzel, and that's gonna be the person I'm rooting for as I'm working.
we have to give him an Oscar for actually putting forth, because every time he puts forth an actual super effort in this movie, he gives an Oscar-worthy performance. We gotta encourage that. Otherwise...
He also directed this movie, too.
Oh. Yeah, that's right, he did direct it.
Yeah, and it was pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many actors can turn around and actually do an effective job directing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I did watch Fences. It is also an 8, because there's some things with these Oscar bait movies that just don't sit with me all the time. And in Fences, Denzel's character didn't go through a complete story arc, but that was kind of the point of the story, was he was a guy who thought the world could never change, so he never changed, and he just built his own fence. Which that's like even Nick said when we were doing the trailer talk for it, was like, it's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Yep, where everybody else was developing, getting better, becoming better people or worse people. Denzel's character just kind of stayed and he resisted change.
Wow, like an old man usually does.
Yep. But even his best friend, who is older than him, or looks older at least.
Yeah. Black don't crack,
he's
baby.
actually just 10 years younger.
You just don't know that Denzel's bathing in virgin blood.
But the acting was amazing in it. And I actually enjoyed it more than La La Land at points. But then at points, again, it's like, what was the story? Okay, so we can move on.
Okay,
Segue.
but since we were talking about Suicide Squad getting an undeserved Oscar nomination, why don't we talk some more DC news?
You mean trash talk DC some more?
Yep, because they just lost another director. Looks like Matt Reeves was in negotiations to direct the Batman film after Ben Affleck just said, like, I don't think I kind of want to do that. And now he's now off the project. So it looked like he was the favorite. He was the favorite going in, and now he's off as well. And then
So basically no one wants to touch this project anymore.
I don't know what the deal is. Like, they were in heavy negotiations. It looks like, I'm not sure. Like, there's no reporting on the story of what broke it down. Like, if there was just, maybe he had a kind of conflict in his schedule, or if it was creative differences, or what the thing was.
Or he took a look at what the shit was happening and went, nope, I'm out.
It could be that they want this movie to happen very quickly. They want this movie out very quickly, so they might not be offering a lot of time to write the script and or, shoot the film, and that always feels directors leaving pressured. They don't like...
So like Suicide Squad.
Yes, yeah, well, yeah, I'm surprised David Ayer actually did it, but... And if the money's good enough, not only that, it's now this is just rumors here. This is all unconfirmed. So take all of this with a huge grain of salt. This is just rumors going around right now that Ben Affleck might be looking around to get out of his contract as playing Batman.
Ooh.
Now that's, like I said, early rumors of just inner stuff, so it might not be true.
Yeah, but look, last time we had rumors about him in this project.
Every other time we've had rumors about DC, like there was those big rumors about Suicide Squad and about how it was really a big mess on the production side of it. Like in the editing bay, like they were saying like, wow, we're having a lot of trouble right now. And that turned out to be true. And those same people are now talking about the Wonder Woman movie's production.
Oh god.
And they're saying it's about Suicide Squad's levels of conflict and compromise between studio and what they're trying to cut together for the film.
What do you expect from Big Brother Studio? I mean, Warner Brothers Studio.
Yeah, and I'm just like, uh-oh.
So, should we get some nails? Cause...
I mean, my spider sense has been tingling ever since Suicide Squad and the end credits of Suicide Squad, but now it's like, ah, man, I just feel like a train is coming, and we can't get out of the way of it. But who knows? There has been movies that have had troubled productions and big rumors around them, like the World War Z movie, which I actually really liked.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
And I was like, oh, wow, and people were really saying like, wow, that, it had to go through so many reshoots. The script had to be rewritten a bunch of times. So it's not unprecedented that a movie can come out the other side of a troubled production, with some shine on it.
Right.
But it's an exception, not the rule, so there is reason to be trepidatious about it. And we got couple more news stories here. The Hook prequel. Remember we talked about that last week?
Right.
Apparently it was on the Kickstarter. And it met its Kickstarter goal, actually. It can be called Bangarang.
Okay.
So they've raised $55,000 or something. And I think they only needed $30,000 in order to make the film. Or to start to make the film, or like, it's hard to tell with some of these Kickstarter projects. Sometimes it's like, we need to get this much money, and then another studio will put up this much money.
Right. Yep.
So I'm not sure what the deal was, but the long and short of it is that they are met their goal, and they are looking to go into production, fairly soon.
Post haste.
So yeah, call me very interested about that. Oh, here's an interesting story. Jar Jar Binks. We have finally figured out the fate of Jar Jar Binks.
He died.
After the prequels. Nope.
He died, and I don't care about the rest.
You're gonna care. Cause okay. It's actually,
let's hear it. Then.
He gets a pretty interesting fate. In one of the novels, I think I forget which one it is. They have revealed Jar Jar's fate. Let me see if I can find his fate here. What novel is it? Yeah, but apparently he became a street clown.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So after
from senator to street clown.
So
same job.
Yeah. So after the Clone Wars ended, apparently the people of Gungan, the Gungans, are not too happy with Jar Jar, as he was if you'll remember from the Clone Wars, you see your prequel series in the cartoon, he was one of the main supporters behind Emperor Palpatine, actually put forth the order to give him emergency power in order to create the clone army. So if so facto, it's kind of directly Jar Jar Binks' fault that the Empire came to power.
So we can just basically blame the whole entire prequels on Jar Jar Binks, what you're telling me.
Yeah, I mean, if one could argue if it wasn't for him, Emperor Palpatine would just got some other patsy, but still,
he was the patsy.
Not a great look for Jar Jar, and the Gungans are kind of mad at him, so they've banished him. He has to perform street comedy under another name in order to survive.
Awesome.
So apparently he's gonna have bring in a small child and teach him the tricks of being a clown. Like apparently he's gonna get his own little sub story. So we might see more of him, but other than the fact, he has kind of a sad, broken down fate. And he apparently feels super guilty about it. Like he realizes how much he fucked up. But yeah, so I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I want some, like, yeah, I do actually kind of feel bad for him, because on the level, I'm like, I hate his character design and the fact that George Lucas thought he was a good idea to begin with.
It still does.
But it does feel like everyone is, treating this relatively dumb character like he did this all maliciously. It's just like, no, he's just dumb. Like, he was taken advantage of by a system in which you all got tricked too, idiots. It's not like you guys let the Emperor slip by too, so let's not put all the blame on Jar Jar, but let's let the blame go around. Like, he owns it with a lot of the other senators too.
I feel bad for him, but the way you're describing it now puts it into way too realistic into what our current situation is in the US, so I'd rather not.
Sure.
I'll just ignore that part.
Which, you understand, is that, you look at what happens in the world right now, look what happened at Gungan. You're just Gungan, who knew? The Gungans, the peaceful people, letting all those Jedi in. But yeah,
should totally be a Jedi band.
In other news, the live-action Lion King is got some cast in it. We have Mufasa. James Earl Jones is returning to play Mufasa.
Cool.
Okay.
That's cool. And Simba is going to be Donald Glover.
Awesome.
So I'm just wondering, how are they pulling off a live? Is it just gonna be like the stage play?
I would say it's going to be the Jungle Book CGI thing, which they still say it's live action because
there's like no human characters. It's not live action anymore.
I know.
One human character.
But we don't have a word for an animated film that's all CG animated to point of realism yet. Because it's like the live action Jungle Book movie is technically live action because there's one live action dude in there.
Yep.
And everything, like,
Well, even worse than the fact that is that a lot of people do think that it's more acceptable to watch that movie too.
Yes, because
which I'm like, my parents actually went to go see Jungle Book, and my mother basically refuses to go see an animated film without a child with her because she thinks it's too immature.
yeah.
And I'm like, we went to go see Jungle Book, and was I the child at that point? Because I was 26, so yeah, I don't think I count.
Yeah, we're in an interesting level of what we define as animated now.
Or childish even.
Yeah, well, that's always been nebulous of like animation, how it's been perceived. But now with CG becoming to a point where we can realistically portray animals to a point where they at least feel real, that they consider the Jungle Book movie a live action movie. And I'd just be like, okay, so if one character was live action on, say, SpongeBob, like, would that now be a live action TV show?
I vote Sally the Squirrel.
Sally the Squirrel was played by a live action squirrel.
The first fucking SpongeBob movie had David Hasselhoff in it.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
you're right.
It's technically a live action movie.
So it would be technically a live action film.
Fuck
yeah.
this then.
So I don't know what the line is, where you draw the line is, but I would say that this is going to be a CG animated Lion King, just like the Jungle Book sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Still an animated feature.
No, you're absolutely
I
correct.
agree, but that's what we're calling it now. So just prepare to be confused about it the whole time.
I was going to ask this question every single time it comes up.
Because now you're going to be saying, like, oh, it's the live-action Jungle Book. Like, just say the new Jungle Book, because there is no live-action Jungle Book. They're both fucking animated.
Well, Jungle Book, I can consider that live action. Lion King,
The 1998 Jungle Book, that was live action,
Yes.
if anyone remembers that one.
Yeah,
Anyone remember that one?
I do remember that one,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, with Wesley, the Dread Pirate Roberts himself in it. He was the bad guy in that. Oh man, that was an awful fucking movie. But anyway, what were we talking about? Donald Glover playing Simba. How do we feel about that?
That's cool.
yeah.
I like it. I think he's got some great comedic timing. So I would like to see if Simba could crack a couple more jokes. I always thought the weakest character in the Lion King is Simba.
Yeah.
Is that his character is just a little. Matthew Broderick played him pretty down and kind of just like bland. But very excited to see James Earl Jones back. Although his voice kind of is not quite the same. You know, we've seen that in, with Vader in Rogue One. But okay, our last story, because I realize we're running long here. Last story before we get to trailers, we have, but I got to get to this one because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah, this one.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is in a Twitter fight with Nickelback.
Wow, that just sounds amazing.
Okay, so we have to go back. We have to track this back to where it started. So where it started was Arnold Schwarzenegger made a video about Congress and saying how Congress is less popular than certain things, like herpes. He got really mean in like herpes, Jersey Shore, Nickelback.
Ooh.
And so like how do 97% of them keep getting reelected? And he goes on about gerrymandering and stuff like that and how we can create change. And, it's a nice message. Nickelback saw the video and, I think they sent him a tweet, since they saw it, because if you've seen it on your Facebook feed, it's one of those things that's been going around. So they tweeted at Arnold Schwarzenegger at Schwarzenegger, big fans. Approval rate this, Batman and Robin. Please leave us out of your future wisdom drops. Danke schön, Herr Governator.
Nice.
So, so obviously they're making fun of his turn as Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin. One of Schwarzenegger's
No one likes that.
One of Schwarzenegger's lower moments in a career filled with lower moments.
Oh yeah. Junior.
Oh, why did you have to remind me Junior even existed? Fuck.
Kindergarten Cop.
My body, my choice. Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen Junior, Arnold Schwarzenegger learns what it's like for a man to get pregnant. Look, I know you're listening to that when that sounds ridiculous. I want to watch that. Do not. It is boring. I don't know how Arnold Schwarzenegger being pregnant is boring, but somehow it is. Okay, just believe me on that one. But anyway, Schwarzenegger didn't take that lying down. He fires back at Nickelback. That's ... ice cold. I hope we can agree that we need to freeze on on gerrymandering, guys. Thanks for the reply.
Wow. No need to freeze.
So, I actually kind of like that.
I mean, he
had fun with it.
He had fun. He actually took the joke and was like, "That's funny. Let me fire back with something that's totally within the purview." There, I actually thought that was hilarious, and so did Nickelback, because they responded with, "At Schwarzenegger, well played, sir. #respect." And now that is a great Twitter exchange, right?
That is how Twitter exchanges should occur.
That's they're bringing up points to each other, they're lightly ribbing each other, but everyone went at home friends, and we're all the better for it, because we all got to read this. But yeah, with that, I think we can take a small musical break and come back with the trailers. So what do you guys think?
Sounds good.
All right.
A freeze is coming. Freeze. Freeze. Batman. Allow me to break the ice. You're not sending me to the cooler. Freeze, Batman. Freeze well. Can you be cold, Batman? Batman.
And welcome back to the UGO podcast. Trailer talk time, guys.
Anything good?
Oh yeah, well first off, we're gonna take a different tour before we hit to the trailers. I found an interesting YouTube site. Like, I'm not sure if you guys have found this. It's called 10-second songs.
Oh yeah.
I found that this guy, he does the different songs in different styles within a singular song. He'll keep switching, and I found this one. I thought it was really fun, pretty fitting. So we want to give that a listen here.
Oh my god!
So it's just, first off, he starts with the regular version. I didn't even realize that guy's name is Jason Page. Of course, now it's Aqua. Oh, now we got Smashing Pumpkins. I like how his body language even changes. Smash Mouth. Oh, all the 90s. Man, even Destiny's Child. This guy's pretty... Chumbawamba. Beastie Boys! I think that's a good place to end.
Okay, that's really fun.
Yeah. See, now, and he goes on too, he goes through the whole song and he switches it up every, say, 7 to 10 seconds. He does stuff like, I've also seen him do like Justin Bieber and, all these bunch of different styles. And it's interesting.
So who's this by?
It's called 10 Second Songs. That's the name of the YouTube thing. I don't know the guy's name though, but if you look up on
so
YouTube,
10-second songs.
if you look up on YouTube, it's called 10 Second Song. That's the name of the channel. So you'll find a bunch of his stuff like that. Like he does, Hello, by Adele, which was pretty fun. But it just struck me as very funny.
The Pokemon theme in so many different genres.
Well,
I just like the way he switched to Aqua.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, and
he's like moving his hips.
and there's not a lot of cutting. Like there's like, I think I see a couple cuts through like some of his videos, but most of it looks like he does each one in one take, like where he's either playing the piano or doing his own backup vocals. So I just thought, oh man, I thought that was really impressive. I thought I wanted to give him a shout out because that was really fun.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the most catchiest songs ever.
Oh yeah.
But with that, should we get on to the trailers?
The actual trailers?
Now, trailers, there was actually a bunch of trailers this week, which is surprising since it's our short week, but it was stuff like the 4th Power Rangers trailer, the like 3rd, like there was another Logan TV spot, and we've seen like a bunch of those trailers.
We pretty much have made up our minds about
So
what
let's
we want to see those.
I thought let's watch some we have not seen the trailers for, or at least we have only seen one. So how about we give King Arthur Legend of the Sword? Because remember that we watched the trailer for that a while back, when we hadn't seen much from it, coming out pretty soon. So let me see if we can see Guy Ritchie's new film here.
Looks like the ice giants are attacking.
It does look like Thor.
Or kind of like the opening of Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah.
Why is the water dropped? Why does the sword reveal itself now?
As your power increases, so do the forces that will oppose you. The born king will come. It is inevitable.
You felt it. The power.
I shall avenge you, Eric Bana. I shall avenge you.
Power, or any desire to achieve it.
That's what all the fuss is about.
Don't worry. You'll soon understand what all the fuss is about.
Are you scared?
I think I can manage.
You should be scared.
Whatever it takes to hunt him down.
If I go down, you follow him. If he goes down, you follow me.
You want him to think big? Give him something big to think about.
You wanted the prophecy. This is your prophecy. The man who pulled sword from stone. Behold, your born king.
I still have no idea how I feel about this movie.
I'd say this. Okay.
It's starting to remind me of The Great Wall, though.
This movie, let's be real. This movie is probably going to be bad. Like, let's get that out of the way right now. Like, the chances for this movie to be good are pretty low. But, now, I like some of the things that I saw in it.
Yeah.
I kind of like the imagery, like the, nymph kind of coming off of the tree. I kind of like the whatever the mermaid's, like, water spirit thing.
But wasn't that the lady in the lake?
Yeah, the lady in the lake. I'm like, whoa, this imagery is real nice and really provoking. It could use a little more color.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden it looks like it's shot in Boston where they're doing like the street parts. And I'm like, okay, you lost me.
But it gives I think it kind of gives it a neat little sense of energy with like how these action sequences are kind of grittily shot. I think that visually this trailer is a lot better than the last one. I'm thinking that narratively it's probably going to be a mess.
Yeah.
But who knows? It's hard for me to tell, like...
Yeah, the King Arthur story has always been
The King Arthur story's always been fucking confusing. Like, it's always been, like, there's like 100 different ways that people tell it, so it's never been 100% consistent. So, and I'm sure this one will have new stuff added into it, too. And on an up note, I kind of want to see Jude Law overact as a villain.
Yeah, actually, that does sound like a fun part.
Kind of actually want to see that. So I'll tell you what, that's what has me interested in it. What do you guys feel about it?
Like I said, I got
Nothing.
There's so much going on in this trailer, I couldn't even focus on one part.
Sure. Well, Kyle, what do you think?
And like I said, it looked like what we saw from the Great Wall.
Yeah. Yeah, not an unfair comparison. I kind of like, we see so many of the cast seems to be pretty good now. We see Littlefinger from Game of Thrones in there for a couple seconds.
Yep, can't ignore him.
What's the black guy
What's the chance that he turns out to be evil?
Oh, God.
From Guardians of the Galaxy?
That guy's like an acting tour de force, but I can never remember his name.
Guy's really good, and he's in a lot of shit, but always like in a supporting role.
Yeah, and he's always in a lot of bad stuff too. Like he was in that latest Tarzan movie, I believe.
Oh yeah, he's always he's always like a heavy, like someone's second in command or something. Like, but yeah, with that, should we watch another trailer?
I'm gonna look up his name while we do this.
Okay.
How about Colossal? The Anne Hathaway movie. Remember, she's controlling that giant monster?
Oh, yes, okay.
The unprecedented nature of this
phenomenon. Get that tingle? You know you're watching something that's going to change the course of history. You alright?
Yeah, it's this nervous tick I have. I get this itch.
Oh my god.
Thing appeared. Same place, exact same time. But it just made a bunch of weird hand gestures.
I'm gonna show you guys something.
It's dancing.
Is dancing like...
Holy shit.
Ow! What was that? What was that?
A helicopter.
With the pilot and everything?
Like the pilot.
Give him a good show.
Keep it cool. Oh my god, those people are looking at us.
She's the monster.
So yeah, again, an interesting trailer. I think that's a very interesting premise. I kind of like we learned something like we learned she can actually feel pain.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. I wonder what that has to do, like, with her, it's like, what's the metaphor gonna be, like, her psyche, like, controlling this monster at certain times of the day. Like, I wonder how it comes together when they're telling the story.
It almost seems to have something to do with that park, too.
Well, the metaphor seems to be that...
she's out of control.
Well,
could be.
Everything that she does seems to lead to destruction.
Sure, like in her own...
Like, no matter what she does, everything goes bad.
Like, this emotional chaos is being presented as the physical destruction of a small town in Tokyo. But that's interesting to me. I gotta say, and I like Anne Hathaway a lot. Mm-hmm. I quite enjoy her, and Jason Sudeikis is also very funny. So yeah, I would say I'm very interested. It's definitely a unique premise.
No,
I've never quite...
I'll give you that.
I've never quite seen anything like that before. But, yeah, I think I'm definitely going to give that at least a try. Mm-hmm. I think it deserves at least that.
By the way, with the new King Arthur, it's Jimon Hanso. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I was hoping to find a, like the bracklets, like, you know, that happens in dictionaries. I can't even remember what that's called, but...
Jimon Hansu, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
But...
A phonetic spelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering how how does that story end? Like,
what's the actual end goal?
Like,
here?
what's her end goal? Like, does she have a final fight with the military to, like, some sort of final catharsis? Does she, like, finally defeat the monster within herself? Like, where does this story go? Where does this end?
As long as it doesn't go dark, I'm happy.
Yeah, like, she doesn't have to commit suicide to get rid of the monster or something. Yeah, but I wouldn't rule that out. It seemed like it might be it seems more comedic, like that. It looks comedy.
They're selling it to us like
as
it's
a comedy. Yeah, you never know. That Kyle brings up a good point. But let's quick watch our last trailer then, because I wanted to get this one done before we got out of here. Which is called Mine.
Mine?
Yes, Mine.
Mine?
Yeah, it's the seagulls from Finding Dory. They finally have their own movie.
You make a joke, but
oh damn it! Nope, totally got that wrong. It's about the military.
Mayday, request immediate extract.
The new extract location is 6 clicks west. You have to cross the desert.
There's 33 million landmines buried in this area.
We can get to that village within the hour, Mike.
I'm requesting immediate support.
There's a convoy passing by your location in about 52 hours.
With all due respect, I don't know if I can survive for 52 hours like this.
Why you fight war? You want to kill enemy?
You need to stay alive.
Come on, Marine. Mayday.
Shit.
Reminds me of Buried.
It does remind me a lot of the Ryan Reynolds movie Buried.
I'll feel less claustrophobic watching this one though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a very neat premise as well. Like it is, you have inherent sympathy for the guy.
Yep,
that's for sure because he's in a shit situation. So yeah, after a botched assassination attempt, him and his Armie Hammer and his buddy try and make it through the desert, and they one of them steps on a mine, blows up, and then Armie Hammer steps on another mine, and he knows that as soon as he lifts his foot off, he's gonna blow the shit up, so he's gotta make it until someone else can come there and get him.
This is something that's done on a lot of Vietnam era kind of, or like historical films.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Like things about the Vietnam War, you kind of see this trope happen. I don't know if we can carry an entire movie, but it does seem interesting.
I would say that's, Buried showed how you can take one defined premise and basically just one person and shoot around it to a point where you can create even visually a creatively shot film. Yeah. So I'd say this film has potential. Armie Hammer could use the work after his horrible debacle as the Lone Ranger.
Oh,
yeah!
Wow, yeah.
That was the last time I remember seeing the guy anyway, and his career is not taken off exactly after that mess. But this could give him some street level.
Still hasn't forgiven Johnny Depp, I bet.
Probably plant some mines around his house.
You and your stupid hat. Here, wear this hat. It's full of landmines. But yeah, color me as intrigued. I always am like those movies, those survival movies like Buried, 127 Hours. They do create a kind of, tension of just man, you're stuck in this shitty situation with this guy.
It keeps up the tension, which is
hard not to feel sympathy for them either when they're battling the elements and giant fuck off lions, I guess. But yeah, with that, should we bring our trailer talk to an end and then quick go into our studio notes?
I'll have to leave at this point.
But we'll be back with me and Travis reading some studio notes after this musical break.
Yeah. Right.
We gon' make this shit happen right here, right now. Calling out to all area group. We gon' make this shit happen right here, right now. Calling out to all area group. We gon' make this shit happen right here, right now.
And we're back, and it's just me and Travis at this point.
We're man down.
Yeah, man down. Kyle to leave. The scheduling couldn't work out, but that's all right. We got some studio notes here to read, and me and Travis can go do a little game with this. Is that again, Screen Rant wrote an article here. Screen Rant did an article by Daniel Faulkner, who's the writer of this article, and we decided we're gonna have a little bit of fun with this. The Writers Guild of America met recently, and they were asked some questions on some of the worst studio notes that they have ever had, and some of them shared some of their
some
notes.
Of their woes.
We'll see if we can't give our own notes and see if they are more or less ridiculous than what the studio execs actually said.
All right.
So how about we try it all? Let's do a test run here.
Okay.
Damien Chazelle, director of La La Land, he was doing Whiplash. So it ends with this kind of drum solo, which was the whole point of making the movie. And there was a note to say to get rid of all that. The note was written, he's good at drumming, we get it. It was really mean. So I was thinking like, okay, what other movie could we have a similar note written like that? Like, he's good at drumming, we get it. How about the ending of Kill Bill, where she kills like 88, Crazy 88, and be like, would the studio give Quentin Tarantino the note, does he have to kill 88 guys? She's good at sword fighting, we get it.
I feel like Quentin Tarantino would get them killed.
How about the end of Pitch Perfect? Where they have that big singing competition that goes on for like 5 minutes. They're good at singing, we get it.
No. End of Jaws.
Jaws.
It's like, he's good at eating people.
We get it. We have to see Quint get eaten that slowly. He's good at eating people. We get it. Yeah. So how about this one?
Or no, Terminator 2. He's good at emoting. Please don't ever do that again.
I think it was like Hidden Figures. Here was a note here.
All right.
Now this one's interesting. I was really excited. Alison Schroeder said, I was really excited. I was pitching this thriller with 2 female leads about espionage. So this is not Hidden Figures. It's a different movie. So she was pitching a thriller with 2 female leads about espionage. Let's see if we can't bring up a dumb note that we can be like, okay, I'll go first. So it's a thriller. So it's a thriller with 2 female leads about espionage. Okay, that's great and everything. But can one of them be the devil? And could the other one be a cop and they fight crime and detect? They fight crime.
Oh, come on! Now you're just making an actual NBC
Now I'm just making
show.
Lucifer. How about you? You got one?
Well, I'd have to ask, who's the romantic interest? Come on, there has to be one of them has to be romantic interest, which means one of them has to be a dude.
Yeah. It's like, okay, that's
so
great.
Which one's the dude?
So there's no 2 female leads. There's a dude and a female lead. So that'll be your note. Let's see. The actual exec said, "Oh, we love it. It's great. Can you either change it to incest or 2 men?"
Got it.
And then she said, if you really hire me, yes. So apparently she was pretty flexible. So she met with her there. I love how it was just like, we love that pitch. Can we change everything about it?
Yes.
Okay, here's Theodore Melfi, also from Hidden Figures. Most of the notes you get are from actors. They're bad. This one studio, Fox Searchlight person said, "Do we have to have so much?" This was about Hidden Figures. Do we have to have so much math? So I pretended to be into like this Hidden Figures. Do you have to be so much math? And a movie called Hidden Figures.
Okay, but there's that. But also the fact that, the whole fact that we're actually making up math here. Like, literally had to writing a story about figuring out how to fly someone to space. No, we don't need any math.
Sure. Do you want to change the title to On the Surface Pictures?
Or maybe Hidden Vowels. It's a one of those finding picture games.
She goes on to say, so I pretended to be interested, but no, it's about math. And then Kevin Costner calls me one night and says, I've been thinking about a receding hairline. I said, okay, why? He said, I just think this guy would have a receding hairline. And so I called the studio because I love to torture them. And I said, Kevin Costner wants a receding hairline. And they flip out and saying, we want Kevin Costner just the way he is. So I went back to Kevin and said, everyone at the studio thinks it will make you look old. He went, oh, can I chew gum?
Okay.
Apparently, like, we're only getting the story from the screenwriting side.
Right.
So we're only getting their one side of the story, so we don't get context for other people. So, but from their perspective, they're just like, why is people pitching crazy ideas to me? And to be fair, studio notes have been known to work and to have a positive effect on films too. To market to a wider audience,
right.
Like to make sure that you're not alienating anyone.
Not so insular, yeah.
Yeah. So there is a purpose to them, but man, are some of these really hilarious. Okay, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick were writing Deadpool.
Okay.
So, and they were writing a particular joke, and it was like they wrote a parody of The Sopranos, calling it The Tomatoes. It was all fruits and vegetables in the leads. It was tomatoes versus bananas. So that's the joke. One of the jokes they wanted to make in for Deadpool. Maybe it was a movie, or maybe it was a TV show on a screen in the background that Deadpool would watch or something. So the note comes back. That'd be great. Like, so what's one of our notes before we read the actual note? Like, so what? So that this short, like say this Robot Chicken type short comes in, it's called the Sopranos, The Tomatoes. Like, oh man, that's great. But, instead of vegetables, can they be space vegetables? Can they be vegetables from space? Can we get this sort of Guardians money in here too?
Or how about this? Like at the end, could they just all become a smoothie?
A smoothie,
just
like
show unity, you know?
To show unity amongst all vegetables. Well, the actual note came back was, we love it, but do they have to be fruits and vegetables?
Does it have to be this plot? Then you don't.
We love the joke. We just don't like the premise of the joke. What?
There's not much to a joke. I mean, it's kind of the body of the joke and the punchline of the joke, and there's not much else to do.
Okay, so here's Kenneth Logan, Manchester by the Sea, which we were talking about earlier.
All right.
I'm trying to think of a really bad note that I've gotten, but for the past 20 years, when executives give me notes, I go to a kind of self-induced hypnotic trance in which I just nod and say, oh, that's interesting. I pitched a comedy once, and someone said, where's the fun? And I said, I didn't know.
Oh.
Sorry.
And Kyle's back.
Holy shit, it's hot in here. Holy shit.
Yeah,
what are you guys doing? Okay, bye.
Thanks, Kyle. Thanks.
And on that note, Barry Jenkins from Moonlight, speaking of how hot and heavy, this one's great.
Oh god.
So Moonlight being about the black, movie about a black gay couple, of course, one of my notes would have been, okay, great. But if Mahershala Ali, if he could throw one dude off of a building, can we get one dude thrown off? Can we get a little Cottonmouth in there? Just a little bit. A little Cottonmouth in there.
How many times does he laugh? Can he laugh more?
Yeah, can you get that little laugh in there? No, the actual note came back and said, so where are the white people?
I mean, I knew it was going to either be something about race or something about homosexuality. I just didn't know which one.
Here's
a lot of black people in this movie.
Here's a rough one. Eric Heisner of Arrival.
Okay.
He was in the start of a pitch where he said, there's a spy and his wife, and the executive said, there is no wife, continue.
Oh.
Damn!
That's not even a premise. This isn't even a premise yet.
Yeah, and that is rough. That is rough.
I mean, why would you even stop there? Just, there is no spy. There's no movie. Get out.
Okay, so I'm making a show about, a cop and the relationship between him and his police dog. There is no dog. Continue. I'm making a show about a guy who fights crime in a devil suit, and
there is no suit. Go.
There is no devil suit. Go.
So is he naked? I might watch that.
I'm making a show about a guy who breaks bad. He's a science teacher and he creates meth in his background. There is no meth. Continue.
So Bill Nye now?
Oh man, that has got to be the roughest note on here.
That's
I gotta say. But let's see. Here's Taylor Sheridan, Hell or High Water.
Mm-hmm.
It just starts to sound like Teacher from the Peanuts cartoon.
Womp womp, womp 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 womp.
I was in a meeting and I wrote this pilot for AMC, and we're all sitting there and they're giving me all their notes, and I'm listening, and at one point I say, what if the F are, or what, no, what the fuck are you people talking about? Censored out, that's why I was confused for a minute. And they said, Taylor, you have to look for the note within the note.
Okay, so now we have to look at subtext?
And he said, okay, but why don't you just give me the note? They looked at me dead seriously and said, well, we don't know what the note is.
It's Schrodinger's note.
And then he locked the doors and burned them all to death with a tank of gasoline.
But the thing is, you couldn't see if they're actually dead or alive because he didn't look in the box.
That sounds like the most, like, what, like, at that point of, like, frustration, what are you even doing there?
I just walk out.
Don't know. You have to look for the note in the note. But we don't know what the note is.
Know what the note is.
Zuko, you have to look within yourself to find yourself so you can know your true self.
Wow. Even pretending to me by my uncle, I don't know what the fuck he means.
That's what you get when you get a bunch of studio execs that try and be deep or whatever.
Right. I'm meta.
Okay, let's try our last one here. Okay, so Todd Black from Fences. We made a Western called The Magnificent Seven with Sony Pictures.
All right.
And the biggest known development and the shooting it was, and let's see if we can't make up a better one here. All right. So it's a Western, The Magnificent Seven. Let's make up a dumb studio note for The Magnificent Seven. Okay. We love the premise, but we feel like there's too many people. So can we knock it down to like 3 dudes?
Like 5 or 6.
It's a remake of The Magnificent Seven. Yeah, but I don't know.
I probably just imagine something like, can there just be more Indian women that they can have sexual intercourse with without consent? I mean rape? No, not rape.
I mean, we like it, but we like it just, can't Denzel be all of the 7? Can he play all 7 roles instead?
That would be a much better movie.
We got camera tricks now, right? To be fair, I would watch that movie. So if that's not a good note because I would watch that.
They were saying, does it have to be set in the West? I mean, can we do it in Brooklyn?
And we just do it in Brooklyn. I'm looking for a man to kill some folks, yeah? Looking for some wicked smart guys. But yeah, the actual note is, are you ready for this? Do they have to wear cowboy hats and have facial hair?
So basically, does it have to be in the West?
And I said, do you want them to not have horses either? That was a huge note on a daily basis, was to have hats and facial hair. And it's just like, what are you talking about?
So I wasn't actually that far off by saying just shoot in Boston instead.
It basically is the same note as it doesn't have to be a Western.
Yes. Oh man, that's depressing.
Yeah, that was the last one I want to touch on, or the last one that was super ridiculous, but yeah, that was fun. I don't think we beat any of them. None of ours were as dumb as theirs.
Like, we got close to what their actual one was in a couple, and that was it.
Like, even trying, we can't even be that stupid. But yeah, that was fun. Oh, also, before we get out of here, I did want to bring up, because I know since Kyle's here now, we're caught up on Steven Universe. And I know we haven't talked about it on mic for quite a while.
No, we've actually been rather quiet about it.
Yeah, we have been quiet about it. Oh my god, guys, Steven Universe, it's so good. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. These latest 2 episodes have been the follow the traditional format of like funny episode and then super dark episode. Yeah, so if you guys are not up on Steven Universe, this is gonna be all gibberish to you, but please go watch Steven Universe. And with that, man, how good was that last episode, though?
Oh my god.
Like the episode beforehand, the crystal temps was fucking awesome.
It was cute.
Like that was cute and funny and all that great, but the next episode is like where the show truly shines, in which Steven goes into his imaginary room.
He self-reflects, both literally and figuratively.
He goes into his room, like his made-up room where he can make up his imagination and becomes real. It's like the Dreamatorium from Community, if only it was a real thing. And he creates his mom. And like from that moment in your episode, you go like, whoa, this is really gonna go somewhere like that I'm not sure if I'm emotionally prepared for it to go. And speaking as a person who has lost a parental figure pretty recently, I connected with it, but it's really for people whose like probably mothers
who
died,
basically never met their parents,
who never met their parents, or their mothers died in childbirth or something. Because it's all about how Steven is trying to come to terms with the conflicting of what he wants his mother to be, and what he's heard about his mother, what his mother is, and what the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. And the way it's portrayed is brilliant because his mother, Rose, is never portrayed as saying anything that's... She says stuff that is basically what he thinks she would say. Yeah. and it's basically him talking to himself in the voice of his mother, and he does she goes on this big tirade and how all sports are beautiful and equal, and it's just like, yeah, that's some shit she would say.
He only even has like one first-hand account of his mother, like a video.
Oh yeah, and he brings up such dark questions of like, did you I think half the reason you created me was so that you didn't have to deal with so you could leave me to deal with your mess. Did you questioning like why did you even want me for me, or did you just not want to have to clean up your own mess anymore? But he asks such dark questions.
And even worse is he is this character who is so hurt by her actions, and yet when he makes this whole entire list of people who she's hurt, and he doesn't even place himself on that list.
No,
it's just like, oh my god.
He recognizes that a show that just recognizes that this character, by having her kid, by having this out of love creating Steven, has hurt others for this. His existence has hurt other people's relationships. Pearl is a perfect example for it. And Steven is fully real.
Oh, he knows exactly what that is.
Fully realizes it at all times, because he is one of the most emotionally smart characters I've ever seen. Like his IQ, like I think one article I saw was that his IQ is not very high, but his EQ is off the charts, and where he can how he can connect his
amount of empathy,
and how he can connect with people emotionally, how he understands everybody on where they're coming from on an emotional level. And yeah, it's like nothing I've ever seen on any TV show, like on anything, not even just an animated show. Like it tackles everything so straightforward. Like I never quite seen a show like it. I can't even describe how much I love this show.
Also, Peridot and Lapis are two country lesbians, and I will fight you if you tell me otherwise.
Yeah, like it's almost not even up for debate anymore if they're in a relationship. Like, nope, they have a surrogate, like, daughter abomination against God, Pumpkin, that they've adopted, which still scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It's just like that and the Watermelon Stevens. I'm always like, God. Okay, whatever. Like they're the scariest things on the show. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm uncomfortable every time they show up. But yeah, they are. I think they're just showing like Peridot showing Lapis the room, like her bathroom, and it's like, oh, hey, this is my, and like oh, she gets interrupted or something. I'm almost thought she was gonna say girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like she was totally gonna say girlfriend. It's like, my roommate or something. And then, of course, like how they perceive Connie as like, oh, that's Connie, Steven's third best friend after you and me. And they're pretending to be the other crystal gems, and Lapis is actually kind of into it.
She's so having fun.
There can only be one the Garnet. She's actually doing a pretty good job with it. And I love, like, even that episode has a great moment with Connie, where Connie tries to be Steven, and, like, she realizes, like, okay, I'm not Steven, alright? I'm not emotional Jesus.
Yes, like, you cannot be Steven, you're gonna hurt yourself trying.
Like, there's, like, 3 people in the world that are like Steven, and one of them's the fucking Pope, okay? And, like, she has to come to terms with that she's much more of an intellectual person, and, like, that's where she has to come at solving problems from, and... yeah, and even then, like, it's her and Lapis, like, hanging out for, like, the first time since, like, the season 1. Like,
since you tried to drown her.
Yeah, we've met before. Really? Yeah, you tried to drown me. I tried to drown a lot of people. Like, you have to be way more specific.
Oh, man.
I love how they, like, just do not care either.
No.
Like, it's like, yeah, whatever. Like, they're better about human relations, but they're still not quite... Like,
it's something they understand on, like, an intellectual level, but they don't quite get.
Like, I think they're starting to get it, but, like, they're not, like, humans aren't things to them anymore, but they're not equals yet.
Right.
Like, they're kind of like pets or in some sort of weird in-between. Like, they're getting there. Like, we're making them sound way more horrible than they are, but they did start out off as villains, so you have to you cut them a little slack. They're doing better. But yeah, like, this whole season has been fucking amazing with, they just recently went to that space station or whatever, and we met with, like, this commune of the human zoo or whatever.
We're like a couple generations of humans who've never lived on Earth.
hey, oh man, it's Gareg. Hey, Gareg.
And at the end where they basically just leave them there, and it's like, no, that was probably for the best. These people have...
They can't insulate into society. They would never work.
They basically lived in a zoo, and you can't just let a pet animal like that
Let's
loose.
be real. We'd find most of them dead inside of a ditch within like a week. Like they would not survive.
They probably have no way of actually gathering food. I mean, they're just talking about going to a grocery store.
And this show has always been like the show of like, if Adventure Time isn't gay enough for you, like this is the show because it's all of the because normally it's female lesbian relationships most of the time because most of the characters are female. They're Crystal Gems, they're all female. There's no male gems.
Right.
But in this episode, we get a couple of the human dudes there, and there's that one dude. What's his name?
I don't remember.
Man, he is super into Greg.
He's super. The one girl that was with him is pretty much into Greg too.
Oh yeah, they're all into Greg.
Yeah, they're all really. It could be one giant polyamorous orgy.
What is it about Greg? Like, what is about Greg?
It's the sunburn, dude.
Is it that magical sunburn? Like, why is everyone so willing to fuck him immediately? But
I mean, he got the leader of a fucking rebellion, okay?
Yeah.
Like, he's got something going on.
Something is happening with Greg. I don't understand, like, what? Are you hung like a horse? What is happening right now?
He's like Podrick.
He's like Podrick from Game of Thrones. But yeah, and then he takes he's taking a swim or whatever, and he flips his hair and he does that thing, and he's doing that look and giving Greg that look like, hey, how you doing, baby? It's just like, okay, that is fucking intentional right there. Yeah. Like, that is...
You wanna fuck Greg.
And then, of course, at the end, that totally pays off, where it's like, it's the choosening. They choose their mates and stuff. Like, no, on Earth we can choose whoever we want. Like, oh, okay. Then I choose Gareg.
Like,
and
yep,
I choose Gareg. And I choose Gareg. It's like the Spartacus of fucking.
Yes.
and it's like, oh, I knew that was gonna immediately backfire. Man, I don't know, like, I can't describe how much, like...
Well, geez, we're even ignoring the important part of that actual episode where we get to see, Blue and Yellow Diamond interact.
Oh, of course, where you realize that Blue Diamond, like, Yellow Diamond is supposed to be this ultimate bitch of a character. But in this, like, the song that they sing, What's the Use of Feeling Blue, you realize that, hey, there's a reason she's pissed.
Yeah.
It's because one of the only people she's ever considered as an equal has died. And she's all like, fuck rose quartz. Fuck Earth. Fuck humans. Fuck anyone that ever had anything to do with Pink Diamond dying.
They're basically a big duality of grief, where they're two stages of grief, in essence.
And yeah, and then like Blue Diamond is like eternally depressed, and somehow Steven is like empathetic with it because he's half gem or whatever,
right?
And so he can like feel her tears, but none of the other gems feel it or something. It's weird. Like, I'm not sure. Like, maybe it's his internal empathy as well, but I'm not sure. But yeah, they even sing a nice song about it, and like later, like that it informs Steven's opinion of like what. He's always grown up knowing that he's been on the side of the rebels in this war or whatnot. Like, well, normally he's grown up when they've lied to him about it like the whole time. He only recently discovered, like in like season, I forget, like it's only been back since season 2 or something that he's gotten the full scope of what the war was. And yeah, when we saw Bismuth show up and she like tells him that, like, yeah, Pink Diamond got shattered by Rose Quartz. Yeah. And it was the biggest hypocritical moment or whatever, because, like, Rose Quartz didn't want us to shatter people. And it's war, like, we should know. It's like, damn. And Steven, like, literally is trying to process, like, what side, like, well, like, were they completely innocent on their side? Like, there's not a big difference, because they did want to enslave the Earth, and, like, that's the main reason they rebelled, but it's not as clean and cut and dry as you might think.
It's war. It's never going to be.
Oh, yeah. Man, it's like, you know how much I love Avatar: Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, Justice League Unlimited, Young Justice, all these great animated shows that are like my favorite ever. This one blows them all out of the water. Yeah. Like, it's not a contest.
It's just pretty much amazing.
Because Steven Universe is not my favorite it's not my favorite animated show. It's not my favorite show on Cartoon Network. It's my favorite show. Like, it's my favorite show. Like, every time a new episode drops, I'm like, I gotta watch that right now.
And the next time I'm over, we're like, okay, now we're gonna watch it right now.
I'm gonna watch it again, because I will watch these twice, because they're so good. It's so fantastic. So yes, with that, if you would like to check that out, I think they're all available on Amazon as well. They're a bitch to kind of watch as well, like if you don't have a traditional cable package.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, but they're definitely worth it. Absolutely fantastic for the songs alone, and just the voice acting is top notch from a lot of like newcomer voice actors too. Not a lot of people I recognize. And yeah, just what a great main character Steven is.
Yes.
Like you can't not root for Steven.
Well, you actually like all the characters.
Yeah, well, the more you learn about the characters, the more you just start to feel sorry for these characters, like just what's like they got left behind by their leader.
Yeah,
because they're
Pearl. I hate you. Look at the beginning show and like Pearl's a bitch.
We're not even gonna get into Pearl because we could talk about
Pearl is an episode in herself.
We could talk about Pearl for a good half hour and all the shit she's going on. Like, long story short, she needs to see whatever the Gems equivalent of a therapist is because she has some issues. Or she needs to continue dating that Rose Quartz looking girl.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she has not come back.
She should.
I think that was like, I was actually like, I know I'm not, in my heart, I'm not like a big shipper, but man, Pearl deserves a little bit of happiness. Well, let's give her, come on, man. I don't care if we treat the Rose Quartz chicks like an object, like this mystical thing. Like, she never even talked in the episode, right?
I think she said a few lines.
Yeah, or she might have. I'm not sure, but like, come on, give Pearl a little something. And Amethyst, like, oh my god, you just talk about some Shakespearean shit of light and you pull that chick's digit? Oh man, son, Pearl, you're a badass. And, yeah, I absolutely love that. And of course, my favorite character is, gotta be Garnet, though. Garnet's amazing. And I won't spoil it in case you actually get a chance to watch it, because I actually was not spoiled on the big Garnet reveal, which was, man, that's great too. Oh, also, like, it's a big, gender identity show.
Oh, yeah.
And, they do if I haven't mentioned before, they do a great episode where Steven, all the other gems can fuse with each other, so Steven is always trying to fuse. He actually ends up fusing with his friend Connie, who is a girl, and they have this big episode that's basically all dedicated to gender identity. How do I identify myself? Like, how do I process my new body? He has to, they get into this weird relationship with a dude that's kind of hitting on them. And, notice, I'm saying them.
No, it's them.
Because it is two characters, so, it's not me being, purposefully, vague about their gender identity. They are literally both a little boy and a little girl. That's not, that make a larger teenage, hybrid. I'm not sure. But, man, that episode is fascinating.
Yes.
Packed with so much in there. They go into dance, they interact with people they've known before, and they see how the other people are treating them differently. And everyone was
true.
Everyone thought Stefani was hot.
Yes.
Everyone is like, oh, Stefani is got it going on.
Both the people at the bakery were like, wow, that's hot.
Which is weird. It was just that older guy, teenager or whatever, kind of oh yeah, this girl, I'm gonna dance with her, and then they unfuse later into two small children, and you go whoa, okay.
Possibly illegal then.
Talk about a boner killer.
Yeah.
Just oh, what? Yeah. It's I suppose it's worse it's even worse than when your date actually turns, it comes to midnight and their carriage turns into a pumpkin or some random magical bullshit. But yeah, even that, you think that's a one-off episode, but that comes into play later.
Yeah. We meet that guy again.
Yeah, because we meet that guy again in this fucking drag race thing, and even that has moments of self-reflection in it, which is just, man, such a great show.
We even get the contrast between, Stephen and Connie's mindsets. Oh, sure.
Well, the reason that they're such good friends is that they complement each other so well. Connie is in such a cold family environment where everything is all logical and like, here's the schedule, here's the plan, here's so I know where you are at all times. And like, that's their family dynamic. And Steven is very much a loosey-goosey kind of very self-sufficient. He's a self-sufficient kid.
He's basically raised by his dad and 3 lesbian aunts.
Yeah, that actually are illegal aliens. Like,
debatable. They were there before government existed, so.
Yeah. I guess unregistered, but they still don't know a lot of shit about human society. No. So he has to do a lot of stuff himself. Yeah, and it does some great things like that. And, we've been talking for a good, 20 minutes on it, and we still have only scratched the bare surface, guys. You don't even know.
Go watch this show.
We didn't get into Jasper and Lapis's fucking fucked up, relationship. Like, 50 Shades of Grey can go fuck itself, okay? Like, here's a really unhealthy, abusive relationship that you can go look into. And, we didn't get into, like, the Peridot and, like, Looney Tunes episode that she had, which is hilarious. Their ode to Looney Tunes, like, to Roadrunner. And, yeah, and of course, like, the music, all I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman.
Yes. It's over, isn't it?
It's over, isn't it? But of course, I think my favorite song has got to be, Stronger Than You, but with Garnet's song. Yeah. This is very good. But yeah, now that our Steven Universe corner is over.
Because Kyle's not here, we can do it.
Yeah, because we can do we gotta jump on that opportunity. Although we should keep him here and just force him to watch Steven Universe one of these days. But, if you would like to, give us some advice on how to roofie Kyle so that we can get him to, chain him to a chair and have him finally watch Steven Universe, we take all suggestions via our contact information. You can email us at unapologeticgeekout@gmail.com. Email us some good knots that we could use on him. Maybe go to our Facebook page, give us a like while you're there, while you're giving us a message on, different recipes of chloroform that work, on a guy of Kyle's body weight. I'm getting even more specific. I hope the NSA isn't listening. Or if, you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at UGO Podcast. And of course, Instagram's the same thing. If you would like to keep up with our pictures after we kidnap Kyle, they'll be there.
Okay, dude.
We're gonna keep it. No, I'm gonna keep going with the theme.
No.
And on iTunes, because we need to mention our iTunes review, because a 5-star review, we will read whatever goes in that description box on the air. So Kyle, if you're listening, maybe read your help note, and we will have to read it on the air next time. So maybe just do it in advance before we kidnap you. But, yes, always taking advantage of that, and it helps us out with, visibility on iTunes and stuff like that. So we would really, really appreciate it. And with that, I think we can just skedaddle on out of here. We're Unapologetic Geek Out, and we're out.
Here comes a thought that might alarm you. What someone said and how it harmed you. Something you did that felt to be charming. Things that you say are suddenly swarming and